From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, property worth millions, shops destroyed in Katsina Central Market. Adamawa Governor Ahmed Fintiri acknowledged Senator Binani's victory at the courts, vows to beat her at the polls. High Court nullifies Osun State local government elections. And on the foreign scene, DRC fighting resumes. M23 says ceasefire deal doesn't affect them. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. We begin in Katsina, where fire has gutted dozens of shops and warehouses, where property worth millions of naira were destroyed at the Katsina Central Market. Abdullahi Amadi, who visited the market, reports that bundles of textile materials, rubber mats, shoes and food items were among the items burnt to ashes during the midnight inferno. The report.
During a visit to the scene of the fire incident, traders were spotted trying to clear rubble and ashes from their burnt-down shops, trying to see if there is anything salvageable. Fire outbreaks at the Fatima Baker Central Market, Katsina, is like a yearly occurrence. It could be recalled in 2021, hundreds of millions of naira worth of property were destroyed in the fire. This time, the fire was said to have occurred at midnight when most of the traders have closed for business. Traders are, however, putting the blame on electrical faults, saying frequent light outages and irregular voltage were responsible for the incident. All these shops have gone. Nothing was saved here. I was at home when a friend told me that a fire outbreak has burnt down several shops in the market at night. This incident is a predestination from God, and I accepted it in good faith. All the affected shops and the warehouse were filled to capacity with goods worth millions of naira. It was just last year, hundreds of shops were gutted in this market. In this warehouse alone, property worth hundreds of millions of naira belonging to over 200 traders were destroyed. Though the State Fire Service Department is making efforts to respond to the various fire incidences on good time, traders believed many shops would have been saved if the fire service officials responded immediately.
This Fatima Baker Central Market fire incident, we did all what we can do without a waste of time. Even though some people may like to see we found ourselves near or close to the market. Yes, of course, but we have to consider the season and the frequent fire outbreaks.
Fire incidences could only be prevented and reduced to the barest minimum if traders are fully sensitized on the need to switch off all electrical appliances before leaving the market. Abdullahi Ismail Amadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And still staying in Katsina, where the police command has rescued a 32-year-old woman kidnapped in Zamfara State after 15 days in captivity. Now, according to the command, the woman, Maimuna Muhammad Maiturari, was kidnapped in Gusau, Zamfara State, and was later abandoned somewhere in the Kurfi local government area of Katsina State, where she was rescued. A statement by the deputy spokesman for the command, ASP Abubakar Aliu, in Katsina on Friday, revealed that operatives of the command in the council who were informed of the woman's predicament rescued her from where she was abandoned. The operatives reportedly took her to a hospital where she was given medical attention. Meanwhile, the Niger State Commissioner of Police, Ogundele Ayodeji, has said that peace was returning to banditry-ravaged communities in Munya, Paikoro, Rafi and other local government areas in the state due to the renewed assault by police operatives. Ayodeji, who stated this in Minna, the state capital, noted that since his assumption of office as new commissioner in the state, new operational tactics have been deployed in the fight against insecurity and other criminal activities across the state. Ayodeji said the circulation of fake news had also become a major challenge his command was battling with, and called on journalists as critical stakeholders in the protection of life and property to always share information with the police for action. He said no curfew has been imposed in Kagara, the headquarters of Rafi local government area, has been circulated on social media, while also dismissing the information of an attack on Zumarok as fake news. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has reassured residents of the safety of lives and property within the federal capital. A statement issued on Friday by the Director of Information, Muhammad Suli, after the FCT Security Committee meeting, assured that adequate security arrangements have been made to sustain the state of law and order. The statement further said everything possible is being done to checkmate criminal activities. The meeting discussed kidnappings in rural areas of the territory, including the Yaba axis in Abaji Area Council. The committee said the security agencies have adopted proactive measures to fish out perpetrators. The Director of Road Traffic Services, on his part, gave an update on the ban on commercial motorcycles in Abuja. He said about 118 commercial motorcycles impounded were crushed in Durumi district and another 300 crushed at Area 1 under the bridge, totaling 418. The meeting urged residents to cooperate with the security agencies by volunteering information on criminals and criminality. And to politics now, where Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri has reacted to the success of Senator Aishatu Binani at the Court of Appeal with a promise to defeat her in the general election. Fintiri stated this in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, after the Court of Appeal on Thursday voided the nullification of the Adamawa APC governorship primary election that produced Senator Aishatu Binani as the candidate of the party. Silas Lawan has more.
It will be recalled that former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, had dragged Binani before the Federal High Court Yola, claiming the party's primary election was marked by irregularities. However, a unanimous decision of the three-man panel, read by Justice Tani Hassan, set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court Yola, which sacked Binani and ordered the APC to resubmit Binani's name to the Independent National Electoral Commission as the governorship candidate. While expressing confidence that he will be victorious in the 2023 general election, Governor Ahmadu Umaru said winning at the Court of Appeal is not enough for Binani and her supporters to celebrate.
And I'm proud of Nigerian judiciary, that they are living up to their expectation. They are deepening democracy, and they are fighting forces of anti-democracy in this country. So, and I think we'll continue on that path together. We will make sure that our democracy grow and will make the country better. All right. It is a law that she should be on the ballot. It is also the wish of our party that she should be the one to represent them on the ballot. I've really congratulated her for emerging victorious from yesterday's verdict in the Court of Appeal. But I don't wish her well because she doesn't understand this state and she doesn't have a clear-cut program and policy to develop this state. Thank you.
With the judgment, all eyes are now on the general election, where Binani and Fintiri will slug it out. From Yola, Silas Lawan, Trust TV News.
Still talking politics, supporters of the opposition All Progressives Congress in Bauchi State are optimistic that the party will win all elective positions throughout the state, despite the slow pace of their campaign activities at the state level. They made the statement shortly after the inauguration of the party's campaign council that will take charge in canvassing for votes for the party in the 2023 general elections. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the story.
The campaign council of the APC in Bauchi State will commence full activities after its inauguration by the leadership of the party in the state. Bigwigs of the party within the state, including the gubernatorial candidate Ambassador Sadiq Baba Abubakar, gathered to witness the event.
We don't even need to call them because they have seen it written boldly on the wall. Many people are not happy with the present administration now because no payment of salary, no payment of gratuity, all the promises been made, there is no single fulfillment of the promise.
You can see the love for APC. PDP came on propaganda. PDP told lies. One of the lies is that they will pay gratuity.
Supporter of the party insists that APC under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari has achieved a lot and are also thrilled about the caliber of the APC governorship candidate in Bauchi. We thought APC government and Buhari is not performing well. Until yesterday, we understood him clearly. With this oil drilling in the northeast by President Buhari, we are proud of him. In fact, any candidate Buhari said we should vote for is final, including our APC governorship candidate. We will vote them 100%.
Bauchi State is an APC state, and it's only there must be something that Bala Mohammed comes to the power. But definitely 2003, we should take our power, which belongs to APC.
In sharp contrast, a loyalist of the People's Democratic Party in the state, Muhammad Lawal, argued that it is the PDP which has transformed the state within a short time, unlike the past APC administration, which had nothing to show in the state. The issue of voting out People's Democratic Party in Bauchi is just a dream by APC or any other political party at the moment. I think it's going to be difficult for them. Even by comparison between the past APC government and the PDP government now, the work embarked by PDP is enough to re-elect them back to power come 2023 in the state. Whether APC, PDP or the emerging third force political parties in the state, only time will tell. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And the Federal High Court sitting in Oshogbo, Osun State, has nullified the just concluded local government election in the state. The local government poll was conducted on Saturday, October 15th, 2022, by the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission under the chairmanship of Segun Oladiton. Justice Ayo Nathaniel Emmanuel of the Federal High Court, Oshogbo, on Friday declared the local government election as illegal, null and void. He also added that the election was not conducted in consonance with the Electoral Act of 2022. He then ordered the local government chairman and councillors who were sworn in after the election to vacate local government secretariats and offices with immediate effect. Reacting to the court judgment, the Osun People's Democratic Party stated that its activism against the illegality of the outgoing administration of Adegboyega Oyetola has been vindicated. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Federal University Gusau chapter, has given the federal government till 31st December 2022 to address their demands, or they would withdraw their services. It gave the ultimatum during a peaceful protest against the federal government's decision to pay them pro-rata salaries in October. The report.
It appeared there is no end in sight to the current impasse between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, as the Federal University Gusau ASU chapter has issued an ultimatum to the Nigerian government to implement the agreements reached between now and 31st December 2022 or face another industrial action. To this end, members of the union and students of the Federal University Gusau embarked on peaceful protest to press home their demands. One of the students who spoke with journalists appealed to the federal government to look into the demands of ASUU to prevent another strike, which he said will have a devastating impact on them.
For the fact that they've embarked on strike based on injustice or maltreatment from the federal government, they should consider it and give them what they are demanding for. Because if everything was okay, they wouldn't have gone on strike. Now we have stayed home for over 7 months and we have resumed school now. Still yet they have not settled these people. Now we have resumed school. They are prompting them to go on strike again just because they've not paid their complete money. The federal government, if they value education and they value us as a citizen, they should listen to our lecturers and pay off their money.
The registrar, Ali Yusafi, who received the protesters on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor, assured them that he will convey their message to the authorities concerned.
The management is quite aware of the plan by the national body of ASUU to stage this protest at various local branches. And like it has been said, today is the day for Sokoto zone, and we cannot be out of it. We have to take part. Now, it is really unfortunate that the federal government has maltreated ASUU in the highest order. Because in the history of ASUU struggle, there has never been a time when salaries of Vice Chancellor downward were stopped. In fact, in previous ASUU struggles, salaries of principal officers, management staff, salaries of those that are on study leave are never stopped. Never.
The protesters carried placards with inscriptions such as, "Education is a right, not a privilege. Education is for all, not for selected few. The country is meant for all, not just for the rich," amongst others.
And as a result of the face-off between the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the federal government of Nigeria, members of the ASUU at the Federal University Lafia, Nasarawa State on Friday grounded academic activities in the institution to show its displeasure with the situation. The union members also demanded the immediate sack of the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, during a peaceful protest it staged. Umar Muhammad has the details.
The ASUU members had earlier in the day held a one-hour meeting where the decision was reached to embark on the protest. Addressing journalists shortly after their demonstration, chairman of ASUU in the institution, Adam Al-Amin Abdullahi, explained that they decided to organize the peaceful protest to demand for Ngige's sack, owing to the fact that they were paid half salaries for the month of October. He decried the minister's deliberate refusal to pay them their 8 months' outstanding salaries since the union declared an indefinite industrial action in February. Abdullahi, however, cautioned that if the current crisis between the federal government and the national body of the union is not urgently resolved, it could cause a bleak future for the Nigerian youth.
We are protesting against the pro rata salary our members received in the month of October. We are telling the government to pay our withheld salaries now. We are also using this medium to tell the government to sack the Minister of Labour and Productivity for his handling of the ASUU strike and the effect of that strike on the Nigerian educational system. We want to tell the government, the president, to recall the announcement of the Minister of Education himself saying he has failed. I want to tell the world that the minister also has failed. We are saying pay our withheld salaries.
Members of the union who carried placards said that they boycotted lectures to show their displeasure.
The situation is very worse. Sometimes dress went for lectures, no lectures, come back, dress again. It's almost getting out of hand now. We don't know what to do. I think it's time now the government should hear what the lecturers need.
Well, I feel very, very bad because I have been in school for the past 3 weeks now and there's no lecturers to teach or take us on any course, and that's very, very bad. We hope that the government understands with them and settle everything so that, because our calendar says we are going to be writing an exam by March and there's no lectures on that.
Some students of the university expressed concerns with the lingering crisis between the FG and ASUU and appealed that the issues should be resolved as soon as possible in order for them to continue their studies.
You're watching Trust TV News Hour. Still ahead. Senior secondary school students in Kaduna invent Android game. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. My name is Femi Adebayo. This holiday season, StarTimes is taking us to a better level. You can step up your family entertainment with the StarTimes upgrade promo. You recharge 2 months on Nova Bouquet and get upgraded to Basic or Smart Bouquet. Recharge 2 months on Basic or Smart Bouquet, you get upgraded to Classic or Super Bouquet. And if you recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet, you get 10 days free on your subscription. This upgrade automatically qualifies you for a weekly draw to win 55 inches Smart TV, PA systems, home appliances, and more. These prizes are proudly sponsored by Longreach, Wayon, and Amaz. This promo is from the 15th November to 15th January 2023. Times and conditions apply. On StarTimes, every day is the best day ever. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. StarTimes. Entertain your family.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Now let's take another look at our top stories. Property worth millions of naira and shops destroyed in Katsina Central Market. And Adamawa Governor Ahmadu Fintiri acknowledges Senator Binani's victory at the courts, vows to beat her at the polls. And now moving on to other news. Government has been urged to urgently tackle the problem of out-of-school children to ensure that they are able to contribute meaningfully to society. Member representing Dengue Shuni Bodinga Toreta Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Balarabe Kakali, believes producing digital slates for the Almajiri and out-of-school children will go a long way to curb youth restiveness in the society.
The challenges, or I've known the challenges, the cries of your people concerning particular social, economic, or educational problems. So Almajiri problem has been there, it needs no introduction here. You know how it's been all over these years. You see little young children from dusk to dawn, roaming the streets, from Arabic and Quranic school looking for food, in tattered clothes and looking hungry, and sometimes disease-ridden, and the society looks on, community looks on, and the government looks on. So I really decided by the demand of the people that I represent and the greatest majority of Nigerians that we work as legislators with other colleagues in both the Senate and the House of Reps to come up with a bill that will recognize, regulate, and develop that system of children in Nigeria who are out of school, whether they are Almajiris, children up north, whether they are street children, children in motor parks, children in markets, children at anywhere, even in other religious homes, so that we give them a sense of belonging and dignity and the education that they deserve. It's about digital justice and digital inclusion of the Almajiri child. The Almajiri child shouldn't be, excluded or left behind in the current fourth revolution of information communication technology. And a lot of them who graduate, we know they do a lot of things with their mobile phones and Android phones, and they are equally, quite intelligent and immersed in issues that have to do with e-commerce, content development, and some of them in cyber forensics.
Meanwhile, the federal government has formally announced the reintroduction of history as a standalone subject in basic education curriculum 13 years after its abolition. This is even as 3,700 history teachers have been shortlisted for the first round of training for enhanced teaching of the subject. The Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, disclosed this in Abuja at the flag-off of the reintroduction of teaching history and training of history teachers at the basic education level. Represented by the Minister of State for Education, Goodluck Opia, at the event, attended by the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, and other key stakeholders in the education sector, Adamu said the loss created by the absence of this subject had led to a fall in moral values, erosion of civic values, and disconnect from the past. Executive Secretary, Universal Basic Education Commission, Hamid Boboi, said 3,700 history teachers had been selected from the 36 states and the FCT, adding that the selection was done on pro rata basis, with 100 teachers employed from each state and the FCT. The Sultan appealed to the traditional rulers and all Nigerians to support the government's efforts towards returning the teaching of history to the basic education level. Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Education on Friday inaugurated the National Policy on Inclusive Education Review Committee to guarantee education for all. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, David Adejo, who spoke at the inauguration in Abuja, said education was not only about being proactive in identifying barriers and obstacles, but being able to subdue those challenges and get expected outcomes. According to Adejo, if the right to education for all was to be upheld, all learners, irrespective of disability, gender, giftedness, or other characteristics, must have equal access to quality education. He said education needed to also meet their basic learning needs, enrich their lives, and provide opportunities for lifelong living. Adejo added that to provide access to quality education as well as remove those barriers that lead to exclusion, effective strategies and actions needed to be taken. Now to health matters, where the Nigeria Center for Disease Control says Nigeria has recorded no fewer than 19,228 suspected cases of cholera, including 466 deaths so far in 2022. The NCDC disclosed this in its latest cholera situation weekly epidemiological report for weeks 40 to 43, posted on its official website on Friday. The report revealed that 31 states have reported suspected cholera cases in 2022, with Borno State leading with 514 cases in the reported week. No new state reported cases in week 43. Artisans are starting to experience increased demand for their skills, products and services from consumers and clients as the festive season sets in. Now, for many of these artisans, the capacity to meet up with these demands is simply not there due to a number of factors. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports about how artisans struggle to keep up with demands of the festive season.
As the festive period lurks around the corner, Most people take a break to relax and celebrate the end of the year. By contrast, the weeks leading up to the festive periods are said to be the most busy ones for artisans.
Every Christmas time, you see different consumers, your customers, they will come and patronize you. They'll buy ready-made clothes for their Christmas occasion, for wedding, for birthday party, get-together, anniversary, and so on, and also burial too. So during season, like from November, December time, we can achieve what we want to achieve from January to November, close to December, which is a Christmas period. So the Christmas period is the time we make more money than other months.
While some customers are not pleased with the work ethics of these artisans, they concede that challenges such as epileptic power supply, lackadaisical attitude to work are among factors that contribute to failure to meet deadlines and deliver on time.
Every year, most disappointments. There are some people that deliver. When you give them, they deliver. But I think majority enough have learned lesson. So as you're losing customers, you're able to continue disappointing people all the time. I think they are trying their best, but I don't know, maybe their reason is just the generator, with this power issue in this country now, and the fuel and other things, when you don't have it, you won't deliver. Because when there is no light, you'll not be able to do anything with your tailoring work or any other thing.
It has to do a lot of factors. Number one can be the workload. So definitely, because everybody wants to sew a new cloth or buy something new, so these people just accept everything because everyone's looking for money. There's that. Then there's also the constant thing, which for more than 20 years has always been like electricity, lack of proper equipment. So sometimes these people are forced to take in stuff and maybe outsource it. And even while they're even trying to outsource it, it's still difficult to meet up with some clientele.
We all know the stage of the electricity in the country. Maybe it is the issue that he needs to fight. It doesn't have light to do that. And talk about the petrol or diesel, they are all non-expensive.
It boils down to the work ethic, and unfortunately, the businesses of many artisans will not grow because of reluctance to adopt right principles. Some people will simply seek alternatives if an artisan is reputed for tardiness, and such workers invariably will lose out. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And still on the festive season, with barely 1 month to the celebration of Christmas, preparations seem to be on the slow lane, unlike before, where decorations, carols and other harbingers of the season would have dotted the city centre. Noel Sampson in this report speaks to some Nigerians on the slow pace of preparations for the 2022 Christmas celebration. The report.
Christmas decoration is any of the several types of ornamentations at Christmastide and the greater holiday season. The traditional colors of Christmas are pine green, snow white, and heart red. Gold and silver are also very common, as are other metallic colors, hence the reasons for the decoration.
Christmas is basically celebrating the birth of Christ for the Christians, and it's celebrated all over the world. Once it's November, people are preparing for Christmas, changing their house, buying clothes for their children, going on trip and all that. It's a celebration for the Christian, for the birth of Christ.
Christ and the spirit of love, showing love to one another. I think that's what Christmas is really all about.
But the preparations seem to be at a very low rate this time, unlike the other years.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the state of the economy has affected the way people go about shopping for Christmas decorations and so on. So the economy might be the most important factor affecting the mood of the celebration at this moment.
What makes it different from now to the previous time is the economy. Things are hard, things are changed, things have really changed. No money, but despite that, it's still okay.
For reasons for the slow preparations, Nigerians have been urged not to let that put them down.
Obviously, to celebrate Christmas, Christmas is all about fun, and I love fun. I think everybody should celebrate Christmas.
No matter what you're passing through, Since it's the birth of Christ and it's salvation for Christians, don't let whatever you're passing through get to you. Just celebrate, be in the celebration mode and celebrate the birth of Christ.
As Christmas celebration draws closer, people are no longer buying Christmas decoration items again, but instead they go for food items because of economic situation. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, science students of senior secondary class in Kaduna have invented a mobile game to help them and the public relax and unwind while going about their daily routines. The students say the aim is also to provide an affordable and simple game that could be easily accessed by the users. Bella Musa reports.
Mobile games or smartphone games are digital or video games played on a smartphone or other mobile devices. Games are now easily accessible on mobile phones with a large percentage of youth playing them. Mahadi and Abubakar are SS3 science students, and their love for the games motivated them to invent a mobile phone game.
Actually, we both initiated the idea of the game. You know, it was like, and we wanted to make it under the name Royal Gamers Nation as our company name.
You know, the major reason is to provide a cheap, simple game to our peers, and at the same time to serve as a source of income.
When asked about how the idea was conceptualized, Mahadi said it was derived from the games he often played.
There's this company. They're very known for making different games like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, Bully, and so on.
As students, coping with daily school routines and low performance of their computers were some of the challenges they faced in the process of inventing the game.
PC, you know, like the space, we had difficulty when we are using the computer. We had difficulty when it came to time management, you know. In school, you know, we had a lot of stuff on our heads. For example, our physics teacher, he wants us to memorize the laws of motions.
The game will be accessed via Play Store. We are working on it right now to make the game available on Play Store. So that process requires some methods that we have to go through, payment, fees, and some documents like that. So we are working on it right now to make the game available for everyone on Play Store, Google Play Store. And their intention is to crash into you so that you can die. So when you are playing it on the phone, use your hand to rotate the analog. This analog, use your hand, is actually more.
They also advise the youth to make use of their talent and become productive to enable them contribute their quota to the development of the nation.
You know, the situation of the country is getting more digitalized, so there's a lot of people I've seen, a lot of my friends I've seen that they have much talent into the software and all that. I think they should take upon that and try to make some revenue and all that. They should focus on their talents, and it mustn't be anything relating to software. It could be fashion design and all that. They should just set in the mind that they can do it.
The condition is in dire need of talented youths. So my advice is for these youths to channel their talents, you know, and put them into productive use.
With support from government, NGOs and individuals, innovations in science and technology by the Nigerian youth will not only make them productive, but also help the nation to bridge the existing skill gaps and help the nation boost its technological drive. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna. Mobile games
still watching
or smartphone
Trust TV
games
News
are digital.
Hour. The news continues shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. A first-class traditional ruler, Emir of Pindiga, Muhammad Sayoji Ahmed, has called on NNPC Limited and its partners handling the Kolmani Oil River 2 to ensure host communities are given their rights and privileges as stipulated in the Petroleum Industry Act. The first-class traditional ruler, who spoke in an interview with Trust TV at his palace, said the emirate will not condone any discrimination against people of the host community. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The recent commissioning of oil drilling at the Kolmani River 2 oil well located in Gombe and Bauchi is a delight for the emirate and people of Pindiga, Akwa local government area of Gombe State, where the reserves were also discovered.
We are happy, and I will congratulate the people of the two states, honestly. In fact, I understand that from the perspective of the federal government, their priority is to make sure that this oil has been found, whether it is in whichever state. And that is a very welcome idea, especially in the north. So, thank God, the reason why the whole thing started is now yielding good result.
The Emir of Pindiga said his people want a true reflection of what was specified in the Petroleum Industry Act to be reflected in the agreement between the NNPC Limited and the people of the area as the host communities.
We are saying what we need is a justified method of operating. That issue of local content, we are not going to take it easily. If there is anything the people in the locality can do, there is no point bringing somebody from Port Harcourt or Lagos to come and do it here. Because that's what our people will benefit from. You bring gravels, maybe from Mambila to this place, or you bring sand from far up somewhere.
The Emir, who assured continuous cordial working relationship with the NNPC and its partners, urged his subjects to cooperate with the oil companies for smooth operations.
Oh, the hope of our masses is rising now. They would like to see a reflection in their lifestyle. They would like to see how the development, the operations of those companies will help them. They want to get out of the poverty they are suffering now. They want to get water to drink. They want to have school for their children. They want to have cleaning for their families, and those kind of things. And for the employment of their youth, that is quite essential. But should there be any discrepancy from the part of the companies, then something may arise. If there's any discriminatory or another one-sided employment, then there will be a problem.
To maintain peace and security within the Kolmani oil field, experts believe that host communities play an important role in the success of the operations in the petroleum. Therefore, government and all other stakeholders must guarantee legitimate rights of the host community. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The National Bureau of Statistics says it will be carrying out simultaneous surveys on the Nigeria labour force and the National Living Standard 2022-2023. The NBS disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja. Chamun Dabeng was there.
The National Living Standards Survey, NLSS, will be used to measure poverty and the living conditions of the Nigerian population, while the Nigeria Labour Force Survey, NLFS, aims to collect work-related statistics like the employment-to-population ratio, unemployment rate, and labour force participation rate. The Statistician General of the Federation, Semiu Adeniro, spoke on the planning process and implementation.
Over the past 1 year and a half, the critical staff of the National Bureau of Statistics have been engaged with colleagues from the World Bank in an extensive planning and preparation process for both the NLSS and the NLFS. This planning process has adopted the use of modern platforms and methodologies for designing and implementing both NLSS and NLFS. While the NLSS exercise largely maintained the same design as we have it in 2018-2019, the Nigerian Labour Force Survey that we are conducting now has undergone more notable changes from previous rounds.
World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Shubham Chowdhury, stressed the need for accurate data collection in Nigeria to ensure effective planning.
That without data to inform the policies that government adopts, or to even recognize where are the big bottlenecks, where are the big challenges, where does government need to direct its attention or direct its financing and support. Without data, that's not going to happen. And in Nigeria, I would say it's even more important because, let me speak frankly, and please permit me to do so, there's a real lack of trust or even faith in that government is interested in doing the right thing. And I think so, this whole idea of using data, robust data, not fake data, okay, using robust data to inform government and to also hold government accountable for delivering, I think has to be part of the solution or what it will take going forward to restore the trust and faith.
Stakeholders are positive that the surveys would gather the needed data for effective planning and implementation of development programs. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now let's join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has released guidelines and expectations for Nigerians or interested persons looking to own a financial institution. The guideline, published on Friday, was signed by Chibuzo Ifobi, Director, Financial Policy and Regulation Department. According to the CBN, the document will help continue its fight against anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism, and countering proliferation financing of weapons of mass destruction. The guidelines will assist promoters of financial institutions to comply with the AMCL CFT CPF requirements while applying for operational licenses. In stock, at the end of Friday's trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 98.9 shares in 2,780 deals, corresponding to a market value of 5.5 billion naira, were traded. Friday's data showed 29% decline in volume, 154% improvement in turnover, but 19% decline in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 25.9 trillion naira. In the aggregate, 101 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending with 18 gainers and 8 losers. And in Ghana, the country will ask its international bondholders to accept losses of as much as 30% on the principal and forgo some interest payments. As part of its debt sustainability plan to qualify for an International Monetary Fund loan, the country will also ask holders of domestic bonds to forfeit some interest payments. According to Bloomberg, John Kumar, Ghana's Deputy Minister of Finance, confirmed the planned restructuring in a phone interview. Kumar said the government will suspend coupons on foreign bonds for 3 years, while domestic bondholders would be asked to exchange their existing bonds for a new bond that offers no coupons in the first year, 5% in the second year, and 10% in the third year. Ghana's euro bonds were steady in early trading in London, with securities due in 2032 rising 20 cents in the dollar to 31.43 by 8:25 a.m. in London, according to Bloomberg generic pricing. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Thank you, Chiamaka, for that business update. And from there, we take a look at the foreign scene, where fighting resumed between troops in the Democratic Republic of Congo and M23 rebels in the country's east on Friday, as the armed group said a ceasefire deal between African leaders does not really concern them. Fighting is ongoing in the west of M23's territory around Chumba, Swagara and Bwiza. Military sources said that M23 is reinforcing, bringing in more fighters and weapons. The Tutsi-led M23 group is waging its most serious offensive in eastern DRC since 2012, further destabilizing an area where multiple armed groups have wrangled over land and resources for decades. Thousands have been displaced in recent weeks as DRC's army has struggled to stop the M23's advance. Many have sought refuge in and around Goma, some 20 kilometers from the front line, which the rebels briefly seized in 2012 before they were pushed back the following year. An Algerian court on Thursday sentenced 49 people to death over the lynching of a man falsely accused of starting deadly forest fires in August last year. According to APS News report, onlookers had beaten 38-year-old Jamil Ben Ismail to death after he turned himself in at a police station at the Tizi Ouzou region. He had gone there upon hearing that he was suspected of arson at the height of blazes which killed at least 90 people nationwide. The court also handed 28 other defendants jail terms of 2 years to a decade without parole. Algeria's human rights group called for calm. Now for a look at sports, where Neymar has been ruled out of Brazil's next 2 World Cup games after sustaining ligament damage in his right ankle. The 30-year-old forward was replaced in the 80th minute on Thursday's 2-0 win over Serbia after a heavy tackle from Nikola Milinkovic. Neymar sat with his face covered while receiving treatment, and pictures showed his right ankle was swollen. Right back Danilo will also miss the next 2 games with ankle damage. Brazil face Switzerland in their second Group G game on Monday before playing Cameroon next Friday. Romelu Lukaku trained on Friday ahead of Belgium's World Cup match against Morocco after missing their tournament opener in Qatar with a thigh injury. The forward was played 90 minutes just once this season, and his last appearance came for his club Inter Milan on October 29th. Lukaku missed Belgium's 1-0 win over Canada in Group F, but trained with his teammates ahead of Sunday's match. Michy Batshuayi played up front against Canada on Wednesday, scoring the only goal, but Kevin De Bruyne said Lukaku's return will be a major boost for the team. Right now, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for more sports news.
Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development has announced new date for 2022 National Principals Corps. State finals will hold between 24th and 26th November 2022, while the zonal finals will take place between 11th and 15th December 2022. The national finals is scheduled for 18th to 22nd January 2023 at Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Director of the Grassroots Sport, Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development, Patrick Okeke, said the purpose of National Principals Corps is to discover talent. As Minister for Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare is committed to reinstating the National Principals Corps that has produced international heroes for Nigeria. Fosla Academy of Abuja are the defending champion. And still on football, Wales' first World Cup for 64 years looks set to end in a last-minute defeat by Iran in Qatar. Solitude's Rosebay Chesmi struck from 20 yards 9 minutes into stoppage time before Ramin Rajayan scored a counter-attack to see victory for Iran, with a renewed hope of reaching the knockout stage for the first time in history. Goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy was sent off with 4 minutes remaining following a video assistant referee check for a reckless challenge on Mehdi Taremi. Wales played poorly just as they did in their opening match against the United States of America. The VAR had disallowed a goal from Iran's Ali Golizadeh for offside. Elsewhere, Senegal defeated Qatar 3-1 to win their first game, a second straight loss to the host nation. Boulaye Dia broke the deadlock 4 minutes before halftime. Famara Dedeo added another one to make it 2-0 before Mohamed Montare's powerful header reduced the tally. Bamba Dieng added the third for Teranga Lions. Qatar are now on the verge of a group stage exit in their home World Cup. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajijafe.
And that wraps up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. Don't forget, for more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.